Moving on, an RTI query has brought to light glaring violations of the POCSO Act in the state of Tamil Nadu. Only 3% of children who are victims of sexual abuse actually received interim compensation. This is in direct violation of Rule 7 of the POCSO Act, which says that an interim compensation must be given to all to meet immediate needs of the child. The response to the RTI query, which sought data on implementation of the POCSO Act in the state, was compiled from 25 districts between 2013 and 2018. While courts heard over 3,000 cases, interim relief was provided only in 95 cases.
The POCSO Act clearly mentions that the government should set up a separate victim compensation fund for the purpose of disbursing the funds to the victims. Either the government can create a separate fund, or they can create already existing other compensation funds, like for example for the women rape or accident victims compensation fund. So they can club it together. So the very purpose is that the compensation can be released whenever that is required, unlike the other planned initiative. It's not a planned one. Anything can happen anytime, so there should be a compensation fund available for the victims.
The interim compensation was thought of to alleviate the stress, to begin the process of healing. But it's really sad that from 2012 in Tamil Nadu, when POCSO was implemented, there seems to be just double-digit figures who are getting interim compensation. There's a clause there that says the court on its own can also award compensation. So why isn't the court awarding compensation? Some of these cases absolutely deserve compensation to just help them tide over that initial trauma.
This point in time, Pramod, this is clear violations of the POCSO Act here, where interim compensation, as is mandated, is not being given to most of the victims.
Well, it surely is, and it's exactly exposing the condition, the level of how Tamil Nadu government is actually dealing with this particular case. Because a victim interim compensation has been introduced to actually ease the pain of the victim. Imagine most of these cases, they are children. I mean, everything is a children in this case. 3,153 cases have been reported where FIR was filed and was sent to the court, but only 95 cases in which interim compensation was provided. I have a copy of the RTI and I also have the copy of the Rule 7, which was specifically laid because you know the kind of like pain, mental pain and physical pain the children go through after such an incident, and that's the reason what this was specifically done. It was also mentioned that the court can directly take a decision on it, or the authorities, be it the cops or be it the lawyers, are supposed to inform the parents that such a thing has occurred. But unfortunately, in the state of Tamil Nadu, we haven't seen anything like that, and that is reflecting in this RTI. Not even 3% of the victims have received interim compensation. In fact, after speaking to analysts, we also found out that in Tamil Nadu, we don't have special courts. All Mahila courts have been converted to special courts. In fact, one of the NGO head who is actually involved in such handling such cases, he goes ahead and says that if a child has been subjected to kind of like such sexual violence, she was even made to wait in a court premises from morning to evening because there is no appropriate court. Both cases are handled by the same court. Such issues are still pertaining. For instance, victim compensation fund is not yet created in the state of Tamil Nadu. We are not exactly sure why or how the state has missed it so far, but this is the actual condition. This is the way Tamil Nadu government seems to be handling a very, very sensitive issue.
Absolutely, Pramod. Thanks so much for getting us all those details.